When the world is quiet and no one is watching, what do you dream about? Let me know in the comments below what your hopes and your dreams are for your life. We should really think about that when we're on this channel, It's a Wealthy Life. I've talked a lot about the financial markets and skills to build your career up. I've talked about education here and there. I've talked about family and maybe things to help you build generational wealth. But we haven't talked about hopes and dreams. And we should. We really should. I mean, what is the point to all this money that we're going to try to generate for generational wealth? What is the hope behind it? Do you have dreams for yourself? Or do you have dreams for your children? Maybe you see your children in a certain lifestyle that you want to support or help with, right? When it comes to generational wealth. You know, what are your dreams? Let me know in the comments below. How about maybe dreams of owning your own home? That could be a dream. That's a dream for many of us out there. Maybe it's a dream of upgrading your home. Maybe you want to do some home improvements. You know, that kitchen's getting a little ratty, whatever it may be. Or maybe it's a dream of traveling. You want to travel the world. You're a jet setter. You've had visions of grandeur of going to, you know, exotic places that, you know, not many humans have been on. Okay. What about dreams of being a multimillionaire? A lot of people have that dream too. You know, some people want to live that lifestyle where you've got multiple millions and you want to get there and have the mansion on the lake, so on and so forth. There's nothing wrong with that dream. That's a valid dream that, you know, certain people like to have. What about maybe starting a business? You want to be a part of the community and you want to own a small business. That could be a dream, right? What about going to college? You know, you dream of a certain degree that you wanted your whole life. Maybe it's you want to be a chemist, or do you want to be a computer scientist or a mechanical engineer, whatever it may be. How are we going to get there? What is the point to having these videos talk about motivation, talk about wealth building, if we don't have any dreams or goals? You know, guys, I think that's something we should talk about. And I think it'd be kind of interesting for some videos. If I could get feedback on people's hopes and dreams, you know, what would that look like? Could we talk about individual dreams on the channel? You know, we could do it anonymously. You know, I don't have to say any people's names, but that would be an interesting concept. Is like, okay, you know, XYZ has a dream of buying a boat on the lake. What does that mean? You know, what do their finances look like? You know, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not like trying to get into people's personal lives, but like we could give general positioning and figure out, oh, this is a reality. This is a goal that could be a reality for this person. That'd be kind of fun. And that's the thing you want to do, is figure out, okay, are these goals and dreams attainable? You know, are they within your reach? Do you think you have the skills or the positioning in your life to do so? Maybe you do, you know, and we should live our dreams, because again, what is the point of having all this money? You know, I've had a few comments in a few videos by viewers say like, you only got one life to live. You know, are you really going to keep working the rest of your life? And that's a valid point, to be honest. And I've been doing a lot of thinking and soul searching on this topic and these thoughts. Like, maybe I haven't been living my dreams. You know, maybe I've been so focused on the grind day to day, week to week, that I'm forgetting, man, I should have some dreams and I should write them down. And I should probably start strategically planning for those dreams. Because if I'm just like working the daily grind day after day, week after week, it's like, you know, I may miss out on some dreams of mine. You know, maybe I've got some intermediate dreams that I need to accomplish, so on and so forth. So that's the thing, you know, we need to talk about this more often. And because that's the reason why we're here on this planet Earth. We only have one life to live, and we should live it to its fullest. Try to figure out in our heads what the dreams are, what the goals are, and go out and get them. Honestly, you know, my mother, her dream was to pay for her 2 children's colleges. That was it. That was her dream, you know, and she did it. And she must have been positioning for, 10, 20 years while she had children on how to make that a reality, And that's what we need to do on this channel. We really do. We need to figure out what tools and what strategies can we use to get us to the point of us reaching all of our dreams. Honestly, we all have different dreams and they're all attainable for the most part. We have these tools called the internet and AI. Those two tools alone, I think, can help you get to your dreams and your hopes. Maybe not, having children, that's a different topic for a different day. There's different ways to do that, obviously. But yeah, the internet and AI can help us attain a lot of different dreams when it comes to a lifestyle we want to lead or material things that we might want. Now, I've seen a lot of minimalism channels, which are good. They're entertaining and all that. But the reality is we all have like these dreams someday. Like we all want to party on the boat. We all want to maybe have a fancy car someday. I'd love to have a Tesla. I could probably make that dream happen, but I'm being smart with my money because maybe I've got a different, better dream. Okay, maybe I've got something more fulfilling than a car. Okay, not to say that having a Tesla or a fancy car is a bad dream. Everyone has their different dreams. Okay, I've always dreamed I wanted a Dodge Viper. That was the model car I used to make and paint. I've got like a couple of them from when I was a kid. I always wanted that car, but then over time, as you have a family, it's like, really, am I going to spend that money on that product? Probably not. One of my bigger dreams is to go to Hawaii 2 months out of every year, maybe around retirement, or maybe when my kids are out of school, because then they could come with us. That would be a dream of mine, is to go to Hawaii once a year for 2 months and just enjoy the surf culture. I don't think I'd be surfing at age 60 because I don't live near an ocean, but that's the thing. I like surf culture. I like that vibe on an island. Maybe it's island culture as well. And the warmth. I'd love to have that. During the cold years when it's January and February, you guys saw me in this forest. It was full of snow and I was freezing, but I was still doing YouTube videos, right? And, that's another dream I have right now, is to get monetized and figure out, is this something I want to do? I think I do, honestly. I'm realizing that YouTube is a lifestyle. After monetization, it's got to be a lifestyle, honestly, because money isn't everything. You got to have dreams. And I've always had a dream of mentoring. I had a great mentor when I was at Dow Chemical, and I think of YouTube as a mentoring service that I can provide to people online, to young people, and hey, people my age as well. Most of the people watching the channel are between the ages of 35 and 55. But hey, I can provide guidance and wisdom to that crowd too. I think I've got good ideas, and I think I'm good at mentoring and giving people a positive attitude. So that's been one of my dreams, and that's how I'm fulfilling it through YouTube. And it's been great, honestly. And so, yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to sit down, find a forest like this, guys, where it's quiet and no one's watching. Take a notepad with you and figure out what your dream is, guys. Write it down and then come back to this video and say, Dan, I want to do XYZ. This is my dream. How do we get there? And maybe we can figure it out, and maybe we can set expectations like, oh, maybe this is too crazy of a dream, or maybe it's not. That's the hardest thing about life, is figuring out what is reality and what is not. But we can always leave that dream on the table and pursue it, because it can be attained. At the end of the day, we have all the tools at our arsenal to do so. So anyways, if you like this kind of content, if you guys want to kind of pursue your dreams and goals on the channel, let's do so. And yeah, if you guys could, if you like the content, like and subscribe. Take a look at my previous video if you could. And everyone, have a great day. Thanks.